Leaving the abandoned mine was no simple feat for Cailana and her warband. They have intentions of traveling south to the town of Castel. They have heard rumors of unknown magic and crime within the settlement. Yet en route, just off the road, they hear animalistic noises and smells so foul it nearly induces vomiting. A sacrifice is being made to the bestial gods, an opportune time to relieve these beasts of their riches and their lives. Hello folks, and welcome to Dice Chatter. We continue Frostgrave Season 2 with another custom battle scenario for Cailana of the Spark Syndicate and her warband. This time the beasts have come out to play. Before we get into the game, we will cover the wizards, their spells, the warband they have hired, the scenario, and any other pre-game shenanigans. So without further ado, let's dive in. Cailana of the Spark Syndicate and her apprentice Alan are prepared for this next engagement. Of course, she will focus on the enchantment school of magic, though she has plenty of tricks up her sleeve. And let's not forget about the spell scrolls and the +1 dagger she received from her last mission, which will hopefully help her and her warband in this scenario. Speaking of her warband, we still have the same loadout: a stalwart knight, a ranger, an infantryman, and a number of thieves and thugs to round out the 10-fighter list. For the ritualistic beasts, we have a wizard of sorts. We will call this creature the Beast Shaman. And let's not forget this creature's apprentice, the Beast Lord. Keep in mind, this Beast Lord has no magical abilities. Our shaman will be focusing on the Soothsayer school of magic, as well as a handful of other spells. For the shaman's warband, we have a single archer, an apothecary holding the horn, and the rest of the squad will be simple thugs. Or goat thugs. Moving on over to the scenario today, we have another custom narrative battle. The intention of this scenario is for Cailana and her warband to get the jump on these beasts during their nighttime sacrifice. They are unaware of her presence, and I wanted to reflect that in the game, so for the detailed rules, check the description. Otherwise, listen up. Set up the board to show a bestial sacrifice in the wilderness. Place the central treasure 6 inches off the center of the board. Place 2 more treasures nearby the central treasure, as well as the Beast Shaman and their warband. You can see all this being set up on the table now. On the opposite end, or the far end of the table, set up Cailana and her warband following the standard rules. For turn 1, Cailana and her warband get to go first, with all subsequent turns following the standard rolling for initiative. If Cailana and her warband manage to defeat the shaman or the beast lord, they get an extra 20 experience points for the battle. And that is it, folks, a pretty standard game of Frostgrave. And with no pre-game rolls, we can jump right into turn 1 with Cailana's wizard phase. So the battle begins, and Cailana herself will take the first action. She will cast Strength on the knight beside her. The spell is successful on a 9, and this knight will have a strong boost for the rest of the game. The wizard will then just move up, getting closer to the action. The knight will follow up Cailana and double move up the board as well, staying close enough to his wizard so they can act together next round. The thief will go next and do what thieves do: run up the board and get closer to the treasure. And for the final activation of the wizard phase, we have the ranger. The soldier will move and then take a long shot at the beast closest to the sacrificial stone. We have a +2 shot to the beast's +2 defense, and just like that, the arrow whizzes past the goatman unnoticed. We will now turn things on over to the apprentice phase. Just like his magical associate, Alan will take his turn and also attempt to cast Strength on the infantryman nearby. The spell is successful on 11, and once again the spell is cast. Alan will just finish off his turn, moving up to the nearby tree. The infantryman will go next and just move up near Alan to pose as a strong defense for the apprentice. A thug will take his turn next and make his way up the board past Alan and his bodyguard, showing the beastmen that their presence has not gone unnoticed. And for the final activation, this thief will begin taking the long way around and sneak about, heading up towards the guarded treasure. After this, we move on over to the soldier phase for 2 more simple actions. For the final phase of the round, we just have a couple thugs from Cailana's warband that have yet to move up the board. Both of them will charge up and get as close to the scrum as they can, and that will finish Battle Round 1. The beastmen are aware of Cailana and her warband at this point. They hear the humans approach, but are they quick enough to react to these intruders? Let's roll some turn 2 initiative, and by the looks of it, the beasts are able to rally and take the next turn. We begin turn 2 with the wizard phase. The shaman will spark up its staff and attempt to cast combat awareness on the thug next to him. The spell is successful on a 12 and rolls a 10, but the shaman will empower the spell, taking 2 damage to give the thug the needed combat boost. The beast will then just scoot up the board and begin to get into the mix of things. The beastman with the boost will then take his turn and get just in range of the enemy thug to enforce an intercept. This thug will scoot into combat range, and we shall see some blood spilt next turn. I'm sure of that. The apothecary with the bullhorn will go next and move up and get right next to the shaman. This little goat man knows his job, and that is to keep the shaman safe. To finish up the wizard phase for the beast, the final thug near the central treasure has just too much bloodlust and will charge out to the battlefield as well. After this, we continue the wizard phase with Cailana's warband. Cailana will of course go first, scoot herself over a little bit, and then cast Wall to block the Beast Lord and his goat buddies from heading towards the mix. This spell is successful on a 12, but she rolls an 8. She decides to empower the spell, and a wall rises from the earth, blocking a needed pathway for the beasts. The knight will go next, move up to the goat and his thug ally, and attack the beast. We have a big +8 to the goat's +3, and the knight didn't need all that boost and just absolutely obliterates the monster. We now move on over to the final action of the wizard phase, the ranger, who will pull out an arrow and fire a shot at this goatman thug. A +2 to another +2, and the arrow slams into the shield of this bestial thug. We now move on over to the apprentice phase. The wall in the way of this beast lord and his allies is particularly annoying for them, but they will make do. The goat thug and the beast lord will double down and move first and manage to get right next to the shaman and end its turn there. It is about the best that they can do here. The archer, on the other hand, will use all of its movement to get up the wall. Unfortunately, it doesn't have enough movement to reach the second level of this ruined building, and it will end its turn mid-climb. After this, we hop on over to Cailana's apprentice phase. Alan will go first, move over a wee bit, and see a big opportunity to cast the grenade spell on the 4 enemies clumped up. The spell goes off on a 12, and it is successful. Now to see what beasts take damage. For the apothecary and the shaman, the magical blast does not affect them as they are strong enough to withstand the blast, though the thug and the beast lord are caught by surprise. The thug ends up taking a big 9 damage, almost killing him outright, and the beast lord goes to half health, taking 6 damage. What a strong play from the apprentice. One more action this round, and that will be from the infantryman, who will double move up and get close to the mass of beasts. This will end things for Cailana, and we turn on over to the soldier phase for the beastmen. Only 2 fighters to activate here. Both of these goatmen will charge up and get perfectly into combat range of the thief. They both double move to do this, and combat will have to wait, but it won't have to wait that long. As we turn things over to Cailana's soldier phase, where we have 5 more activations. We will do the combats first this soldier phase. This maroon thug will move up and challenge this goatman to a battle. We have a simple +2 fight to another +2, and the thug crits, slicing the goat in half and preparing the cattle for supper. What a strong play. The purple thug carrying a dead chicken will go and move up, giving the thief some needed assistance and attack the goatman. Once again, a +2 to another +2, and the thug this time takes 2 points of damage. We will stay right here in this combat, and the thief will take his turn now. A +1 to the goat's +2, and the thief underestimates the beast, taking 6 damage. To finish off the round, we have 2 movements. The gray thug near the center of the table will make his way to the mess of things in the center of the table, while on the right side of your screen, the sneaky thief will go the long way around, towards the treasure on that side of the table. With those moves complete, we finish Battle Round 2. A decently strong display for Cailana and her warband. Going first here would mean a lot for her. Let's see if the beastmen can do anything about that. And with that initiative roll, Cailana and her crew of fighters will be starting turn number 3. Before the round starts though, we will see if the wall spell disappears, and with an 18, it stays put this round. As always, we begin with the wizard phase, and Cailana herself will go first. She liked what Alan did last round with the grenade spell, so she will try the same. The spell is cast on a 10, and it is successful. The explosion will be placed just behind the shaman so that it hits the apothecary, the shaman, and the beast lord. After a series of rolls, only the apothecary takes 4 damage, while the other 2 are unaffected. This will turn things over to the ranger, who will pull out his bow and fire an arrow at the apothecary or the shaman. After a roll off screen, the arrow heads towards the apothecary. We have a +2 against the +1, and the arrow finds its mark, piercing into the goat's hide, taking 2 damage. The thug and the knight will move up together, and then use their second action attacking into the shaman. The knight will go first. We have a big +6 to the shaman's +2, and the wizard takes a big 10 damage from the knight's heavy mallet. The thug will attempt to finish off the shaman, and with that big roll of a natural 20, the shaman is no longer present in this world and removed from the table. It is all up to the beast lord now. With the death of the shaman, there is no wizard phase for the beastmen, so we skip on over to the apprentice phase where Alan will take his turn. He will first move up the board closer to his allies, and then, just like last round, cast Grenade towards the apothecary and the beast lord. The spell is successful with a 13 on the die, and we will roll up some damage. Against the apothecary, Alan lands a huge natural 20 as well, taking the goatman out. But this beast lord is resilient and takes no damage once again. The apprentice phase continues, but only the beast lord can activate. And let's just say this beast is looking to get some revenge. He will charge on up towards the thug, who took out his goat pal, and attack the weak human. We have a +3 fight to the thug's +2, and with only 6 health remaining, the beast lord underestimates the thug and is killed near the sacrificial Stonehenge. With the beast lord and the shaman decimated by these human intruders, those goatmen left on the battlefield look to the wilderness to find solace from those terrifying warriors. The magic from Cailana and Alan was too powerful for these malicious beasts. During the battle, Cailana lost no members in her warband. Only a few wounds needed to be mended. Feeling invigorated from her successful mission, Cailana is able to boost up her total hit points and make Grenade easier to cast for her and Alan. As they leave this horrible place behind, with quite a large amount of treasure, they discover the following riches. A total of 180 gold crowns, a scroll of Dispel which they found in their home base, the library, and 2 grimoires, one of Animate Construct, and the other being the Bridge spell. She will also spend some of this money in the next town, replacing one of her thugs with another strong knight. He will be missed. There you have it, folks, another Frostgrave battle report in the books. The dice were hot for Cailana and her warband in this battle. I hope you enjoyed this report, and let me know in the comments if this is content you enjoy and would like to see more of in the future. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course do all the other socials. I want to thank you all for watching, and of course, happy gaming.